Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. We have one of our most regular guests in Ewan Downey joining us from i-80 Gold. And the reason that they're such a consistent guest is they just keep putting out great news on three of their key projects, and actually four. And today they had some great news out of Granite Creek. Good to have you on again, Ewan.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. I just landed in New York. We're on a bit of a marketing trip, so great to be back on.
Well, it's got lots to talk about. Three holes getting back into that South Pacific zone. 26 grams of gold over 5.7 meters, 25 grams over 5.5, 15 grams over 19.7. Looking really good as you get back into that South Pacific zone, Ewan.
Yeah, as you know, the market's been, I'd say, somewhat, if not pretty trying over the last 12 months, and we haven't been working with quite the budget that we'd like to be operating on right now. But we've been fortunate to have a significant balance sheet right now, and that's allowing us to progress all of our projects. We stopped drilling the South Pacific zone last year, not necessarily because we wanted to. It's just we did some initial mine designs on what that zone might look like, what it might mean to the economics of the project, and based on our internal work, it has a huge positive effect on the future of the Granite Creek mine. So we're now, as we said in today's press release, starting to extend the sixth level. Or we're building the sixth level on the OG zone, and it's that level that we are going to drift down to access the South Pacific zone. So in order to be in a position to hopefully start mining first stopes in the first half of next year, we need to do more infill drilling, and the deposit's completely open on strike and at depth. So we're also doing some step out drilling in that northern area, which is the northern deeper area is actually where we started. And the results you mentioned are the first three holes that met every expectation we had for that area. Hole 5, which was the third hole we drilled this year, is actually the best grade times width intercept we've had so far in the South Pacific zone.
Well, you brought up some good points there. One of them is, Ewan, that, one thing I like about the way you operate is you've been through a lot of cycles. And no matter what's happening, stocks going up, down, sideways, you guys just keep on driving forward. And that's always been your nature. And, when we get a better market, I think it's going to pay off in spades.
Yeah, that's what's happened in the past. As a mining company, we can't control the metal prices. We can't control investor sentiment. All we can control is trying to do the right job for the project so that it becomes an economic mine for our company, which is what we're doing. But what we found in previous cycles, when everything's down, we've always had that mentality that mining is pretty cyclical. It's up and down. If you perform in the down periods and you keep doing what you say you're going to do, we've found that those are the companies that outperform when the cycle gets on an upward swing. And we saw that last year when our stock hit all-time highs in the early in the fourth quarter of last year. And we've had a bit of a rough 6 months here recently, but if we are going to finally see a good turnaround in the mining market going into year end, I would expect that from here on that we should outperform, because we have been hitting good results on every project. As far as I'm concerned, there's been nothing negative that's come out of any of our projects so far this year, and we just keep advancing them. In August, what we announced this morning, we had our best month to date in mining at Granite Creek as we ramp up, and that will ultimately lead, we expect, to positive cash flow from that project. And really, as a mining company, that's what I think everybody dreams about, is actually achieving cash flow positive operations on one of their mines, and we expect to be in that position in 2024.
And whether we're looking at exploration companies together, or in this case, a mining operation, one of the key things you and I both look for is continuity of grade. And what I see from your early production there, it looks like the numbers are coming in with the way they should.
Yeah, the first 4 levels that we've mined out of the OG zone have all been between 10 and 14 grams per ton. So great way to start. The South Pacific zone is a larger zone, or appears to be a larger zone based on the drilling we've done to date. It has better continuity along strike than what we find in the OG zone. The OG zone only has a strike length of about 100 meters, whereas the South Pacific zone now, we've defined over a strike length of 500 meters, and it's open. So we do expect it to be the main part of the mining operation that we have at Granite Creek starting next year. And if the drilling keeps up in this deeper, lower area, it's looking like the grades are closer to about 15 grams in that deeper portion. And recall, we're sitting right beside a long strike of Barrick's large Turquoise Ridge mine. And
in the same kind of rocks, in the same kind of structure, and it's wide open. You got a runway there to keep chasing it, Ewan.
Yeah, we actually believe that Turquoise Ridge is 25 million ounces. Like you said, we're in the same exact rock package, a long strike from them, and really the Turquoise Ridge deposit blew up below 2,000 feet is where the bulk of their resource was identified, and we're only drilling down right now to about 1,500 feet. So we're hoping that as we go deeper, it continues to get better and better, like happened next door at Turquoise Ridge.
And you've kind of been seeing signs of that with your drilling as you get deeper and to the north. The grades are kicking up there a little bit, right?
Yeah, so far so good. I'm not going to say it's going to keep doing that, but our 2 deepest holes are our best intercepts to date. From last year's program, we had 16.4 grams over just over 15 meters in our deepest hole. And the one we announced today was a step out from that at depth, 15.5 grams over nearly 20 meters. So that area is really looking promising. And the hole along strike from that, there's another hole about 100 meters on strike that's also over 15 grams per ton over good widths. So that deeper area is looking like it's really coming together. There's 2 additional major fault structures that we think will intersect the South Pacific zone to the north. And those represent to us some really big scale targets that I don't think we'll be testing this year, but next year we'll likely start looking at some of these bigger, deeper targets.
Walking your way towards that.
Yeah, we're stepping out that way right now. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, Ewan. I know you're on a really tight timeline. Some of the riffraff out there keeps wanting me to pressure you and talk about the stock price. And, I mean, it is what it is. The market has been going through a tough period, and you guys keep executing, which I think is all you can really do. But I would remind people that around this time last year, the stock was also down at a low and blasted off pretty good for the next 3 or 4 months. So let's hope that we can make history rhyme.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping as well. With hopefully we get a nice recovery in the market, and with better sentiment towards the sector, because I think we've seen a bit of pressure, a bit more than some of our peers, probably because we were the best performing developer stock last year in the market. Probably gave back a little more this year than some of the others. We also had Waterton, who was a big shareholder, twice. When we also took over Paycor, so they had a lot of stock, and twice they had big blocks of stock that they essentially blew out on us, and that really caused a negative effect on the share price. But the people who say, oh, the stock's down, it's I don't think that there's anything that's been wrong with what we've done this year to justify it. It's just been a market, and the fact that we had a couple of big sellers come out of the wood, so to speak, and knock our price down pretty aggressively. And like you said, we had the same thing happen mid-year last year, and then recovered up to over $4 prior to year end.
And then the big thing, and it doesn't really matter what sector you're in, if you keep on growing the value of the company, sooner or later, the stock is going to figure it out. And you guys have been doing that on all your projects, Cove McCoy, Granite Creek, Ruby Hill, wherever you guys go, you guys are getting great stuff.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have assembled a great portfolio in Nevada. We work with Nevada Gold Mines, who's obviously the biggest producer really in North America. Nevada Gold Mines would be the biggest producing operation in Nevada, and it's located right around us in Nevada. And we do have a processing agreement with Nevada Gold Mines. So we've been able to establish a very good relationship with them. And effectively what we're trying to do is build a smaller Nevada Gold Mines is the target as we build out our three mining operations.
Well, even if you do that, the long-term shareholders are going to be very happy, because companies that do that kind of stuff tend to have valuations in the billions. And you guys are at about a $500 million valuation at the moment. So I think you're one of the most attractive miners, growth stories out there in the sector. So keep up the great work, Ewan.
Thanks, Allan. I'm sure we'll be catching up soon, as we expect to have a significant amount of news flow going into the year end here.
All right, man. Well, I know you're on a tight time schedule. You got bankers and institutions to talk to. So thanks again, Ewan, for coming on the show and talking to our audience about what the news means beyond the news release.
Okay, thanks a lot, Allan. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. I'm going to wrap it up.
All right, take care.
There you go, folks. In i-80 Gold, I think you've got a company that's on a tremendous growth path. Yes, the stock has been under pressure, like a lot of mining stocks, and that's indicative of the sentiment, not the valuation or the improvement to the value of what the company has. And ultimately, when you're in a turnaround situation, it's those companies that keep on with their task in front of them to build their company. And as Ewan said, he's trying to build a Nevada Gold 2.0 or miniature Nevada Gold. Well, that kind of a company would have a valuation in the billions. And I think that's why they're such an attractive opportunity for investors now. As always, it's important for you to speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decision. Do your homework, check out the various interviews that I've done with you and over the last couple of years. Really helps you understand what the news is all about. And yeah, do your homework. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.